Welcome to MsMojo, and in this installment of Verses, we're comparing the 3 actors who have portrayed Dumbledore in the Wizarding World franchise.
Well, being me has its privileges.
I do enjoy a view.
Round 1. Bookaccurate. When most fans picture Dumbledore, they think of a whimsical wizard who carries himself with absolute command. Richard Harris fits this description.
Let the feast begin.
His portrayal of the character provides the same warmth and understanding Harry receives from Book Dumbledore. He also nails the character's more cryptic side, as it always seems he's concealing crucial information he plans to reveal later.
I do not think it was you. But I must ask you, is there something you wish to tell me?
Book Dumbledore steals everyone's attention while he's in the room, and indeed, when you see Harris on screen, all eyes are on him. Michael Gambon infamously refused to read the source material. Still, there are some familiarities with the book. His Dumbledore has the character's darker aspects, conveying the headmaster's ruthlessness and ability to seize control.
Witness for the defense, Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore.
Those familiar with the later entries will see similarities between Gambon and Dumbledore's dismissive attitude towards Harry in The Order of the Phoenix, but his decision to almost largely eschew the kinder parts of Dumbledore's personality seeps away much of the character's likability.
But you all have studying to do.
Since Fantastic Beasts is a prequel that isn't based on a published story, Jude Law had to draw from his own talents to portray a younger Dumbledore.
There's a story in my family that a phoenix will come to any Dumbledore in desperate need. They say my great-grandfather had one, but that it took flight when he died.
However, the few pieces of information concerning young Dumbledore in the books are still often dissimilar from Law's depiction. Because of this, Richard Harris takes this round. Richard Harris 1, Michael Gambon 0, Jude Law 0. Round 2. Better films. The first 2 Harry Potter movies are arguably boosted by nostalgia. The feel-good tone reminds many of their childhood.
I'm not going home. Not really.
However, the films don't make as much of a critical impact as a unit. While Richard Harris and his castmates were praised, the movies didn't take bold risks in depicting life at Hogwarts. Harris's Dumbledore is one of its brighter spots, but because the entries largely play it safe, he doesn't get to fully dive into the book's difficult moments.
Silence! Everyone will please not panic.
The Prisoner of Azkaban and Deathly Hallows Part 2 received universal acclaim, perfectly portraying the Harry Potter universe. Michael Gambon is part of both of them.
Arresto momentum.
The other films similarly received a solid reception, with Gambon's performance in later sequels highlighted. These entries reflect Harry's hero journey, each with a unique aesthetic.
Harry, you wonderful boy. You brave man.
There's a gradual progression from the youth-friendly tone to mature avenues, due to which Dumbledore evolves as well. The Fantastic Beasts films are a notch below the Harry Potter ones.
Do you know why I admire you, Newt? What? More perhaps than any man I know. You do not seek power.
While Jude Law's Dumbledore is well liked, the movies suffer from an identity crisis, going from a simple magical creatures-based adventure to the Wizarding War.
However long you keep me and my friends under surveillance, you're not going to discover plots against you, Travers, because we want the same thing, the defeat of Grindelwald.
You get the feeling that Dumbledore deserved better than a supporting spot here. With more consistency and quality pacing in the later Harry Potter films, Gambon gets the point in this round. Richard Harris 1, Michael Gambon 1, Jude Law 0. Round 3. Emotionality. Since Dumbledore and Harry don't interact as much in the first 2 films, Harris's emotional moments are limited. However, he makes the most of them. He's able to empathise with Harry's loneliness and need for love, adding a wave of wholesome sentiment in these scenes.
It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest and most desperate desires of our hearts.
His portrayal carries a calming influence that removes the tension, making Dumbledore come across as a well-meaning grandfatherly figure.
What happened down in the dungeons between you and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret. So, naturally, the whole school knows.
For the most part, Michael Gambon's version is detached, irritable, and a big contrast to Harris. This Dumbledore is a bit too intense, even prone to outbursts.
Harry Potter! No. No. Harry Potter!
Book Dumbledore rarely loses his cool, but Gambon's version is mostly on edge. We all remember his over-the-top reaction after Harry is named a Triwizard champion.
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the oldest students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
He finally reaches a slower tempo in The Half-Blood Prince, although it's perhaps too late to fully change our perception of him by then. Jude Law's take is the most relatable. This Dumbledore is the easiest to open up to and wants to listen to your problems. The younger Albus doesn't conceal his emotions, choosing to feel the pain of losing his loved ones instead.
I went along because... Because I was in love with you.
There's a definite trace of melancholy whenever he speaks, as he carries the weight of his past on his shoulders. Watching the powerful wizard be so human is a welcome sight, as viewers can finally see Dumbledore as a person, rather than a legendary wizard.
Like Credence, she never learned to express her magic. Over time, it grew darker and began to poison her. Worst of all, none of us were capable of easing her pain.
Richard Harris won, Michael Gambon won, Jude Law won. Round 4. Chemistry with the cast.
Fascinating creatures, phoenixes. They can carry immensely heavy loads, and their tears of healing powers.
Richard Harris's scenes are mainly with Harry and the Hogwarts staff, yet whether they're having a light-hearted moment or engaging in heavy discussion, he and his scene partners are always captivating.
It is only fitting that you both receive special awards for services to the school.
The interactions he does have with other characters are equally watchable, so it's a shame that Harris didn't get to act as much with the rest of the cast. Michael Gambon might be a touch dominant, but the cast hangs well with him. Many of his scenes involve relaying important information, and his co-stars share his momentum without going off track.
He had nothing to do with it, it was me.
Most noble of you, Harry, to shield me. But as has been pointed out, the parchment clearly says Dumbledore's army, not Potter's.
While his initial interactions with Harry are one-sided, they eventually grow into their teacher-student dynamic. Gambon arguably has the best physicality for Dumbledore's action-oriented moments, complementing Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort in their epic battle.
It was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. The orders are on their way.
Jude Law's Dumbledore has a solid chemistry with Newt Scamander. They interact as equals, but Law also carries himself as a leader should.
Not to worry. Professor Hicks's defensive magic is superb. Until next time.
Such a flatterer.
Because of this, Dumbledore and his team stand against Grindelwald are as adrenaline-pumping as intended. His intensity is adjusted according to the requirements of any given moment's tone, which his co-stars portray just as effectively.
Now he is an official candidate in the International Confederation of Wizards. Dangerous times favor dangerous men.
With that in mind, this round ends in a tie. Richard Harris 2, Michael Gambon 2, Jude Law 2. Round 5. Better debut. Richard Harris kick-started it all, as Dumbledore is the first character seen on screen in the Harry Potter series.
Good luck, Harry Potter.
He introduces the magic and mystique of the franchise, and Hogwarts truly comes alive when Harry sees Dumbledore. The latter feels like a safe place for the protagonist and viewers, as he provides the care and support Harry craves from an adult figure. Harris's tender approach to the character in The Philosopher's Stone makes the headmaster a symbol of goodness in the wizarding world.
For pure love and outstanding courage, I award Gryffindor House 60 points.
Michael Gambon's portrayal is such a departure from Harris's amiable persona that Dumbledore does a complete 180 in The Prisoner of Azkaban. Scenes where his soothing presence is needed instead often feel amped with tension.
You may recall, prior to the start of term, I did express concerns about your appointment of Professor...
Not a single professor inside this castle would help Sirius Black to enter it.
Gambon also turns up some of the character's wackiness, which causes a tonal disconnect with his own performance.
Well?
He's free. We did it.
Did what? Good night.
It would have made sense for an original character, but compared to Harris, it feels more un-Dumbledore than anything else. Dumbledore's arrival in the Fantastic Beasts series connects it with the Harry Potter films. Still, the character is awkwardly placed, since he isn't initially as directly involved in Newt's adventure.
I cannot move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
We get a few snippets of his earlier days at Hogwarts, and his overall plan is shrouded in uncertainty. His debut leaves a lot more to be desired, and it isn't until his subsequent appearances that he's in full form.
It's a blood pact, isn't it? You swore not to fight each other.
Since Harris does the best job at introducing Dumbledore, he gets the point here. Richard Harris 3, Michael Gambon 2, Jude Law 2. Round 6. Magical Mystery. Dumbledore largely takes a back seat to the action in earlier entries. As such, Richard Harris didn't really get to showcase his skills with the wand. His Dumbledore is limited to momentary displays of magic, which don't exactly take the breath away. Unfortunately, the actor passed away before we could see him in full swing.
Change of decoration is in order. Gryffindor wins the House Cup.
Michael Gambon embodies the fear factor Dumbledore commands when in attack mode.
Do you know who I am? Albus Dumbledore. Are you Alison Moody? Are you? No. Is he in this room?
His duel with Voldemort is still awe-inspiring to watch. Gambon is a sheer force with the wand, making it appear like a legitimate weapon in his hands. It never feels as if there are any special effects when he displays the character's aptitude for magic.
I have no intention of going to Azkaban.
Enough of this. Take him!
Whether dueling or performing any other spell, Gambon's Dumbledore lights up the screen each time. Much like Gambon, Jude Law also has a certain finesse with his magical control.
Things are not quite what they appear, Credence. No matter what you've been told.
His duels with Credence and Grindelwald are among the most entertaining scenes in the Fantastic Beasts series. Law's Dumbledore also performs smaller charms and enchantments that depict his sensitive side. However, because of his smaller film count, he doesn't have the numbers that Gambon does, and so it's Michael Gambon who steals the round. Richard Harris 3, Michael Gambon 3, Jude Law 2.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Round 7. Better dialogue / wisdom. Richard Harris's Dumbledore fits the wise old master trope down to a T. The character serves as Harry's guiding light in the wizarding world. His quotes about not letting dreams hold us back and valuing friendship remain evergreen, applying to the real world.
It does not do to dwell on dreams, Harry, and forget to live.
It's also Harris's voice we hear when thinking of the power of love, as Dumbledore relays this vital piece of knowledge to Harry.
This kind of mark cannot be seen. It lives in your very skin.
What is it?
Love, Harry. Love.
For all of the high energy that Gambon exhibits, he still has time to dole out some wise words. His speech in The Prisoner of Azkaban notably rings true beyond the screen, teaching viewers the value of happiness.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light.
The actor doesn't always embody Dumbledore accurately, yet he exceeds expectations the times that he does. The fandom continue to appreciate the impact of his best-known quotes, but it takes a while before he delivers such moments.
Do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living. And above all those who live without love.
Staying true to his emotional nature, Jude Law's Dumbledore has much advice to impart.
Our spells met. Let's call it fate. After all, how else will we fulfill our destinies?
His dynamic with Newt revolves around empathizing with the other's problems. Although his dialogue is in character, he reflects more with sadness and regret than wisdom.
There once was before, there will now be after. Funny how historic days seem so ordinary when you're living them.
The younger Dumbledore doesn't have all the answers like his older counterparts.
Pick your poison. I really couldn't have done it without you.
Richard Harris 4, Michael Gambon 3, Jude Law 2. Richard Harris broke through with a memorable first impression, simultaneously establishing Dumbledore as a wise and likeable character, while delivering an overall well-rounded performance. Decade later, he still flawlessly appeals to our nostalgia. And so, it's Richard Harris's Dumbledore who claims the victory. Which actor will always be your Dumbledore? Let us know in the comments.
There, Hagrid. It's not really goodbye after all.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.